look at Joe Biden. President Biden has been in office for over 8 weeks. 2 months has already come and gone. He has done nothing at all to address police genocide. He has done nothing at all to address miseducation, economic castration, gentrification, or access to wealth. But you know what he has done? He's used his executive privilege to sign an executive order against violence against Asian Americans. Well, why hasn't there been an executive order against violence against black folks? We have been the consistent victims of violence in this country for 4 centuries. And you mean to tell me that black people are the reason you are in the White House? And rather than do something about the violence inflicted upon us daily, not only by the police, but by white vigilantes, look at all the lynchings and hangings that have taken place in this country, Sister Ann, in the last couple of years. And rather than address that, he wants to address violence against Asians. He wants to make 4, 5, 6 million illegal immigrants natural citizens of the United States of America. He's fighting to eliminate discrimination against the transgenders. And guess what, Sister Ann? If that is what you want to do, Joe Biden, you can do that. I'm not against you protecting the lives of Asian Americans, but I'm against you ignoring the lives of black people who have been dying before Asians got here and who will be dying long after the Asians leave here. And his behavior totally shows how dismissive the Democratic Party is about black people and our issues. But every 4 years, like the loyal house slaves we are, we go marching to the election booths to put another Democrat in office. Get off the Democratic bandwagon.
Well, how do you think Trump would have made it different? How do you think Trump would have made it different?
Neither one of them are any good, Sister Ann. That's the whole point. We should not be rallying around either one. What we should be doing, rather than championing candidates in public, we should be having private meetings with these candidates and agreeing upon certain election mandates. So when you get these 50 million black votes, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, we know for a fact that you're going to handle this problem, and you're going to handle this problem, and you're going to handle this problem. We know you can't do it all, so we're going to give you 3 things. These are the 3 things we want done these 4 years, and if you do them, we'll give you 50 million more votes for your second term, and we want items 4, 5, and 6 handled. We don't need to be promoting white people in public. What are we doing running around promoting white people? You shouldn't be promoting Joe Biden's presidency, and you shouldn't be promoting Donald Trump's presidency. Instead, you should be meeting with both of those men behind closed door, striking an agreement in private so you don't have to socially promote nobody. You just go to the polls in silence, give him your votes, and he gives you your mandate. That's how business is handled, not running around with Biden T-shirts and Biden flags and Trump T-shirts and Trump flags. Black people, sometimes they make me sick in my stomach because after 4 centuries, we should have evolved a better political agenda than the one we got now.
So the things that we should be asking for is, of course, money. I don't think... We're not asking for them, but the 5 majors are miseducation, gentrification, police genocide, access to wealth, gentrification, mass incarceration, miseducation, gentrification, access to wealth, and police genocide. You definitely said the right thing, access to wealth.
Access to wealth. And guess what? We didn't ask Joe Biden one thing about access to wealth. Not one thing. Not one thing about gentrification. Nothing. And so he's out here catering to the Latinos, catering to the transgenders, catering to the Asians. And guess what, Sister Ann? He even catering to illegal immigrants. How can Joe Biden afford one of the first things out of his mouth? One of the first things out of his mouth post-election is I want to make millions of immigrants citizens of the country when you haven't even guaranteed citizenship for the 50 million blacks who are here.
Well, I know one thing the European world said our country is barbaric because we don't have what other civilized nations have, and that is free health insurance. We don't insure the health of our citizens. I was a little bit surprised to read that. So that is, I think, how we're looked at in the world because of this healthcare situation. But in terms of access to wealth, what does that look like to Dr. Umar?
Access to wealth means black people are given the grants and the low-interest loans that they need to build their own economic opportunities because America is through with giving black people jobs. All of our young people who are in college right now, they're going to be faced with a stark, unpleasant reality after graduation when they find out that there won't be any employment for them. And that not only goes for those with a bachelor's degree, that goes for those with doctorate degrees as well. I know unemployed attorneys. Oh, yes, I do. I know unemployed engineers. I'm talking about the upper echelon of the white economic empire in America. And we're not doing anything to make sure the college freshmen of today have a better opportunity tomorrow. We are a disorganized people. The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey told us that the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization, and it is. And we are not doing enough to give the next generation a better opportunity than what we did. We suffer from a psychopathological selfishness that has crippled black progress in every single area of American mainstream life since Dr. King's assassination, which, Sister Ann, will be 53 years this Sunday, April the 4th, 1968 to April the 4th of 2021, 53 years since Dr. King, and look how much ground we have lost.
We've lost a lot. And, you know, I believe that he was assassinated as soon as he started talking about the economic struggles that we have. What are your feelings about the whole thing that went down in Atlanta with the sister being taken in custody behind this, the voting rights thing that the people in Georgia decided to do away with?
Yeah, well, as you know, Georgia is a very racist state, and even the Democrats are racist, as they are anywhere else, because all white people are racist. But what you see happening right now in Georgia with the attempts to undermine the 1965 Voting Rights Act and those new changes that the Georgia State Legislature has approved, that is a punishment for the work that Sister Stacey Abrams did. She's the main reason.
I connected the dots now.
Yeah, she's the main reason that Joe Biden won Georgia. It was Stacey Abrams that made that possible. She oversaw the registration of more than 80,000 new voters, and this was the largest presidential Democratic voter turnout in at least 20 years. And all of that was due to Stacey Abrams. Unfortunately, Joe Biden has ignored her since she helped him win. He hasn't offered her a single cabinet position yet, which shows you that they don't care about us. They just use us. But what you see happening in Georgia is the rollback. They want to roll back the rights, and they want to strip the Voting Rights Act to make sure black people are never able to gain access to the polls like the way that they did in this past presidential election. It is a punishment. It is a punishment not only for Stacey Abrams delivering Georgia to Joe Biden, it is also a punishment because they just elected their first black U.S. senator in Georgia's history. I believe it was the pastor of Dr. King's church,
Warnock
Baptist Church, Warnock. He's the first black senator ever, U.S. Senate, from the state of Georgia. So you know white folks do not appreciate that either. So they're going to strip down all the rights and make sure they can sabotage black turnout at the next election so nothing like this ever happens again.
You know what? I'm going to remind you of something, and the lights are coming on. Do you know that we had a conversation once before, and you said that if Trump did not win this election, there was going to be some blowback behind it. And
that's part of it.
I didn't see this coming.
Yes, but let us be clear, Sister Ann. There's going to be blowback against black people even under Biden. And that might sound like a contradiction, but the reason why there's going to be blowback against black people even under Biden is because Joe Biden had to kowtow to a lot of conservatives, and he had to kowtow to a lot of conservative Democrats in order to get the vote. So Joe Biden, in order to make sure the next presidential candidate for the White House who represents the Democratic Party doesn't suffer from his liberalism, he's going to try to distance himself from issues that affect black people as much as he can. That's why he has done nothing, Sister Ann, nothing at all. Whenever you hear about Joe Biden talking about non-white issues, it's about immigrants, it's about Asians, it's about transgenders, it's about women. It is not about black folks. He is not discussing black folks because he do not want to alienate conservative Democrats. Black people are going to get just what black people deserve. Another Democrat, just like Obama, who's going to do nothing but cater to every other minority group except you, because you do not learn your lesson to stop running out here voting for these people without making demands before they even enter their name in the race to run for that office.
My gosh. Well, one of the things we're going to have to demand is that we get more black teachers in the school, because it seems like a lot of the problems that we face now are that miseducation piece. I don't know why they're not making a concerted, hard-line effort to get some of these black males that are in colleges right now, maybe as a way to wipe out their loan and teach these boys, these kids that are in class.
The white woman, first of all, public education is a white woman's empire. That's her job bank. Just like white males are guaranteed to be a police officer, white women are guaranteed to be a classroom teacher. Those are the two jobs that's one of the white privileges in America, one of the unwritten rules. If you're a white male, you can't get hired nowhere else. You could be a teacher or a cop. If you're a white woman, you can't be hired nowhere else. You could be a teacher or a cop as well. So they're never going to get rid of that, because that's how white women feed their families. In addition to that, they use the white woman to psychologically disarm the black male child to make sure he doesn't have any masculine revolutionary energy by the time he leaves high school. So her job is to homogenize him and effeminize him and politically confuse him and to psychologically disarm him. And let us not underestimate the impact that having white teachers your whole life for a black male goes towards choosing a white woman for their lifelong partner after graduation.